to this introduction to the light body. Very excited to have you with us, joining us, whether it's in person or whether it is on YouTube at a later time. But very happy that you are here. So I'm going to enable the chat so that if you are here and joining us, please sign in so that everyone can see who you are. And this is also where you're going to place questions on the side. So okay, great. Good. So again, if you're here, please put your name here. So tonight is an introduction to a wonderful meditation practice, something that can really transform your life. It's the most powerful form of meditation that I know of, and something that I have been working with for almost 20 years as a spiritual path. I find it a very complete spiritual path, and the reason for that is because it is based on experience rather than being based on any kind of a belief system. So often there will be a spiritual path, or there'll be a kind of a meditation where you're asked to believe things, or someone is bringing information and you're being given information, but you don't have the actual deep experience of it. The deep experience is what the teacher has, and they are considered to be perhaps the master, and you are more of the student or the disciple. The nice thing with light body meditation is that it's all about your experience. So it's not about anybody else's experience, and no one else's experience is even really considered to matter. What matters is your experience and the states of consciousness that you can achieve. So how does one achieve states of consciousness, or higher states of consciousness, or deep spiritual experiences? Well, one way is through practice, and certainly part of this is practice. The other part is transmission. And in light body, states of consciousness are transmitted so that those who are present and receiving the transmission will actually be able to easily achieve a different state of consciousness, perhaps a state of consciousness that you have never experienced before in your life. So it would be a higher expanded state, a powerful experience. And the other part of it is, aside from the transmission, and to me, well, I'll talk a little more about transmission. So what does that mean, transmission? So transmitting a state of consciousness is something that a teacher can do, who is able to travel into other higher states. And if they are experienced and developed, and if they have these higher connections, then they can hold these vibrations, these resonances, and open that up for the students. The students can then experience it. The thing with Light Body is it's not just, oh, and you need the teacher there to be able to have this experience. It's actually a roadmap, and it is skill building. And the skills are to allow you to achieve these states of consciousness on your own. And so it's this combination of transmission, skill building through practice, and having your own experience. That your experience is the right experience. That you're not trying to have anyone else's experience. There's no, this is right and that isn't right. Your experience is the right experience for you. And saying that, there's also no belief systems involved in this. So you don't have to believe really in anything. We really don't want you to believe in anything. We want you to believe in your experience. So if you've had an experience, that's what you need to believe. Often, in the past, often growing up, we've been told not to believe in our experiences. We're told, don't trust yourself. Don't trust your knowing. Don't trust your experience. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe if you're seeing things or experiencing things, maybe you need to go see a therapist. But in this, we want you to trust your experience, learn to trust your experience, and trust it because you are able to experience, to achieve the state of consciousness, and also because you can achieve, so you need to believe because you can achieve the state of consciousness, and because you can get back there by yourself. There it is, because you have the roadmap, because it's something that you can repeat. It's sort of like a scientist doing an experiment. So, okay, maybe you got there one time when you saw, how gravity worked, but can you do that over and over again? So in some ways it's like science, because you know it's true, because you can repeat the experience. You learn how to get into these states. And the states build on each other. And so in the beginning parts of the Light Body, you're having experiences that are closer to chakras. They're not the chakras. They are a different energetic system than the chakras, but they're more like that. And we begin with what would be similar to the first chakra. We actually call it the Nuya. So it has a name and it has very specific resonation. And you begin working on something called the vibrational energy body. And this energy body, this vibrational energy body, is a platform for where you're going to go beyond that. And so it's a building, but the very first one is equivalent to first chakra. And from there you move to what is called the Dinya, which is building on the base of the Nuya, and those two are called the power base. And that is the first series or first volume of meditations. So there's a whole volume of meditations here that are going to bring you up to the next level. And so it's a step-by-step process. So I have the series right here. And this is the series that is in the physical form. People nowadays, it's because these are old, but they're new for me because when I got them originally, they were cassette tapes. So that's how old the series is. It is actually recorded in the 80s, but it still is an incredibly powerful series. And the teachers, Dwayne Packer and Sanaya Roman, are continuing to teach. They just don't repeat teaching the same things. They have created a pathway, and this is the beginning of the pathway. And so just like if you were wanting to study music, that you would not go immediately to the most advanced volumes, you would begin at the beginning. This is the way to study from the beginning. And so if you can see that there, but here is our volume 1, and it's called Building Your Power Base. And so in Building Your Power Base, you have a whole series. So if they were in CD form, you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 CDs. Oops, one might be somewhere else. So 12 meditations, and most of these, the whole sets are sets of 12 meditations. And the meditations are by Dwayne Packer, who channels Da Ben, and Sanaya Roman, who channels Oren. And they have also created the book Opening to Channel. So that is one of their creations from back in the 80s, teaching people to channel, which I also teach, of course. And Sanaya Roman has written also the following. So this is Dwayne and Sanaya, and this is Sanaya. She's written Spiritual Growth, Personal Power Through Awareness, the classic, Living with Joy, Creating Money, and Soul Love. So these are her Oren books, and they are a wonderful series of books, and they actually go great with the study. So there are books that would be associated with this that would also support what we are doing. So there are 2 different channels. Dwayne Packer channeling Da Ben gives much more of a energetic experience and takes you interdimensionally traveling through an ability to track his energies, and he teaches you skills. And so it is a skill building platform that Dwayne uses, that Da Ben uses, to introduce you to these states of consciousness, to walk you through these vibrational energy bodies. Oren also channels and is more interested in helping you work with your personality self in order to harmoniously be able to work through these energies. So as your vibrations are raised, then you will, at the same time you raise your vibrations, you also need to be able to work with the personality in a way that is able to come into resonance with the new person who you are becoming. And so you are transforming through this process. And part of the transformational process is the transformation of the personality, of the emotional issues, of your day-to-day self. So you aren't just going off there in this higher energetic trajectory. You also have the opportunity to work with a lot of your own issues along with that. And in fact, there are also skills that you develop in how to approach your life and how to work with your day-to-day life. So those are very important aspects of this. So you know that it's a very well-developed path, a very well-rounded path, as well as being a very exciting path as you move into these higher states of consciousness and more expanded states of awareness. So I pointed out the volume 1 called Building Your Power Base. There are 6 volumes. Volume 2 is called Opening Your Heart Center. Yeah. Volume 3, Awakening Your Higher Energy Centers. It gets very exciting as you go along. Volume 4, Aligning Your Vibrational Energy Body. So you've come through what we call sort of the lower set, coming up to the heart, and then we stop and really work through coming up to the heart, coming all the way up through the whole, all of the vibrational energy body centers. And following that, you need to work on the whole vibrational energy body center system, which is called the Renari cocoon. And so we get to that level, we work on that, and from there we go on to 5th volume, which is Awakening Your Light Body. I'll tell you, it's getting really exciting at this point. And finally, to Becoming Radiant. So a fabulous building up of energy and of power. So great. So I'm happy that we have some action on the chat. So hello out there. Nice to see you. It's great to see you. Happy that you're out there. So very good. So yes, so this whole progression through this series of meditations is very, very powerful. And you are constantly having higher and higher experiences, more and more advanced spiritual states of consciousness that you are able to get into and hold and work with, both with the Da Ben journeys and also with the Oran journeys. For some people, it's all about the Da Ben journeys. For other people, it's all about the Oran journeys. And for most people, it's both. Um, and for some people, for a while, they're into Oren, and then they become more into Daben, and then that goes back and forth as well. But it's all very, very wonderful stuff. So what we're talking about here is getting into very expanded states of consciousness. And these states of consciousness take you out beyond thought, beyond your idea of who you are, into what we call direct experience of beingness. So the experience of being, the experience of getting to know who you are, the true self, the real you, as opposed to the more transient personality self that gets caught up in all of your day-to-day activities. This is a way to step out of that and step into something a little bit more of who you are. So, just looking at my notes here for a moment, we need to look at. So, part of this is changing less harmonious energies into positive ones. So the energy state that you are living in becomes a higher and higher state. Why would you want to be in a higher and higher state? Because it's happier, because it's more joyful to be in a higher state, because you're not so thrown around and at the mercy of what we would call the lower emotions, so that emotions can move through easily. So if you become angry, then you can move through anger and come back to a nice sense of harmony. So you don't hang on to things. You don't have to hang on to your anger. You don't have to hang on to sadness. You don't have to hang on to grief. You don't have to hang on to worry. These things can come up and they can move through, which is so much healthier than hanging on to them. When you hang on to them, it harms you, not just because you're not happy, but also harms your physical body, because your physical body is then blocked and creates stagnation. And well, that goes more into my Chinese medicine background. So yes, we want to upgrade your state of consciousness, becoming more harmonious, going higher. Experience flowing emotions. I'm going to be able to stay centered. So staying centered. So when you can get into these higher states, you have the ability to not be thrown around so much by what is happening around you. You are able to be more grounded, to be more solid, because you know who you are. If you don't really know who you are, then you can just be bouncing around in life and you can get thrown around. You don't have an anchor. And so this idea of being centered means that you don't get tossed here and tossed there. You're more at the fulcrum point. And so things may be moving around, but basically you stay in the center. You're not out on this wild and crazy swing. You stay here. And you may go there, but you don't swing around. You develop ways of being in states of consciousness to be able to handle your life in a much more evolved way, in a much more mature way, and in a way that's also much more loving, kind, and compassionate. Yes. So the light body opens up doorways to the higher realms of light. And so we are coming into higher frequencies. We are moving more towards source energies. Now, people respond to that in a lot of ways. Some people say, well, why would I want to move towards source energy? I'm all about being here on Earth. I don't want to be, getting all high on these energies because it's not, I'm here on the Earth plane. But what is the Earth plane? The Earth plane is physical reality, certainly, but the Earth plane is also vibrating at many different levels all at the same time. So if you pick something up, it has a physical. So if you pick something up, you have a physical. I'm just picking up a crystal. Crystal, it has a physical form and a physical shape. But at the same time, it has an energetic form and energetic shape. And we know that it has that energetic reality to it. We even know that in a scientific way because scientific has progressed to the point where it sees the atomic structure and the molecular structure. And we know that it is basically energy. The crystal is existing as energy. We don't see that unless we have an extremely high-powered microscope. So we think of it as something solid. But however, it is having an energetic existence. Now, our crystal also has a history and an evolution. And so it isn't just a random arrangement of atoms and molecules. It is a very precise arrangement of look at that smoothness and shininess of the surface. So it has a very precise arrangements here of the structure. And so how is that created? There has to be a consciousness involved. There's a higher evolution that is involved in creating that crystal. This is where we consider spirit to be involved. So it also has a history, it has a past, it's existed in the past. And its history would go back, when you take apart each molecule, really to the beginning of time, because it's a part of that. And it would go on because it can't really fall out of time. It can't fall out of time and space. So it is going to continue to exist. So it really has this, what we would call a spiritual aspect to it. So even though it's the earth, and it is something of the earth, then it actually has a lot to it. And if you explored this with states of consciousness, you might find that there's even more involved in our crystal here. So we are living in different realities, and we are living in them all at the same time. And so the spiritual world and the divine world isn't something out there. When we say that we're going up or we're going into those divine states, we're not really going out anywhere. It's not somewhere other than right here. All of it exists here all at the same time. And it is this tuning into it and diving into it all within your consciousness. So it exists within your consciousness. And so your consciousness is where we are exploring. That is where it's happening. All on the inside. These are inner explorations. Okay, more people attending, so that's very nice. So we hope they're willing to maybe put their name up on the side. It'd be nice to say hello and thank you for those who have put their names up. And for those of you who are listening live, you can just click over on the chat, and there's a space at the bottom where you can write. And actually, during our webinars, that is exactly what we're going to be doing. You're going to be able to click in on the side. You're going to say hello, let us know that you're there, because we're going to be a class, a group. And once you're there, once you've said hello, you're going to be free to ask questions. And even now, all those who are attending can go into the chat and feel free to ask any question that you'd like. So thank you. Thank you for saying hello. And I'm saying hello back to everyone and welcoming any questions in. So it's this amazing exploration of consciousness that this is. And I came into this myself almost 20 years ago. My late partner, Philip, was the one who introduced me to light body. Oh, I've done this picture where you can see it. It's up high, and I'm not going to be pulling it down. So anyway, so, oh, here he is. So my partner, Philip, it's Philip, hi, smiling at you, yay. So, here it is. So, Philip introduced me to light body almost 20 years ago, and that was a great. So, thank you again for signing in over there. So I've been doing a lot of meditation before that. I had been to India doing meditation, Advaita meditation. I had done tons of Taoist meditation. I had done Zen meditation. I'd just done a lot of different styles of meditation practice. I thought that I was very adept at meditation. And when some people got together who were doing light body, and I started to hear them talk, and I started to tune in to the energy, I knew that they were doing something that was quite beyond my skill level. And I was like, I have to do that too. It is the thing I must do next. My life is sort of like that. I know when I have to do these things. It was very much like when I had to do medical Qigong. It was like, I knew that's what I had to do. And with light body, it was the same thing. It was like, oh my God, this is a whole other level here that is beyond anything that I know about or anybody. I'd never heard people being able to discuss higher states of consciousness in the way they were discussing higher states of consciousness. So that was that's why I started to do it. It's like, wow. So, and when I learned, I was with Philip, who had everything, had all the volumes up until then. So that was mid-90s. So I think I had about 6 years worth of volumes to catch up on. And I did that in, I don't know, 6 months or something crazy. I just devoured it. It was like candy. I just couldn't stop doing them. So I love this stuff. It is my favorite thing. I was just last weekend, not this weekend, but the weekend before, I was in Oregon at a live seminar, and you couldn't have put me any place in the world where I would rather be. There is no place I would rather be than doing light body meditation. Which is great because you can do it anywhere. So you can travel. So the inward traveling is so much more interesting and expansive and happy than the outward traveling. The outward traveling always involves all of this, you've got to get planes, you've got to get vehicles. I mean, I do a lot of it. And then I do my light body there when I travel. But there's this whole process of getting a place to stay and going out for food. Whereas light body, you can just do them. And then you are traveling interdimensionally. One of my very good friends, having a very rough time. She had shingles, and she was just telling me the other day, she was also someone who has practiced the light body and just doing the first series. And there's a journey in there where you meet some other beings. And she told me how it just completely shifted her energy. She woke up in the night, she couldn't sleep, she put on a meditation, listened to it, and went into an amazing bliss, went back to sleep, and felt like she woke up a different person, like her life changed. And that's kind of what this is like. It's so powerful like that. It can really bring true change into your life. Deep change in who you are, who you think you are. So, really beautiful. It's hard to explain higher states of consciousness and what you get to, because until you go to those higher states of consciousness, if you always lived in Antarctica, you'd really have a hard time knowing that there was a jungle and that it was really pretty nice there and it was warm and you could lie outside and eat bananas off of trees. So the same way, it's sort of hard to explain these higher states of consciousness until you actually go there and experience them. And of course, that's the best thing. It's not the same thing to go and read a book that tells you about it, because until you go there, you can it's only an intellectual experience. And what you really want to have is the experience in your body that tells you that it's all real, and the practice that allows you to get back into these states. Now, it's not like a intense practice. So some people have asked, now, how much do you need to practice these? So we're going to go through a volume a month or every 4 weeks. So if there are 12 meditations in here, you divide that by 4 weeks, and that's 3 meditations a week. How long are the meditations? They are usually between like 22 or 23 minutes to half an hour. So we're really just talking maybe an hour and a half a week. I love to do these in bed before going to sleep, or getting up in the morning, or in the night if I can't sleep. Those are great times. And then for a real treat, doing them in the daytime also. So those are good times. There's never really a bad time to do a light body meditation. So 6 volumes. We have a webinar at the very beginning before you start. I can introduce you to the states, the first vibrational energy body that you're going to be moving to. And then we do a 2-hour webinar. You get a chance to ask lots of questions there. And I'm working it out so that you'll be able to see each other. So it'll be more of a classroom. And then we'll have one 4 weeks later. So in between, you're going to be working on your own. But it's great to do this. So very different from if you just bought the series and downloaded it. It's great to be working with a group because you have encouragement to keep up with the group. And that way, at the end, at the month, we get back together, we can talk about your experiences and you can ask questions. So there's a great opportunity for sharing. We're also going to open up a page for people to share on as well. So you can have a shared page to be able to chat on with each other about your experiences. So you've got that for support. So you want to have good support as you go through your process, go through the series. So at the beginning and end of the month, so we will talk about the last one, then I'll introduce you to the next set. So the evening, it's like 2 hours, maybe goes over 2.5 hours, and they are always recorded. And so it's going to be on YouTube. And I will be sending out the link, usually the next morning because it's in real time and I have to sort of do the whole download thing so that you're able to connect into it. So, and we have one at the very end. So that makes a total of 7 webinars. And you can look at the options there if you look on the website and you want to order it. Or people maybe already ordered it. Now, for those of you who are doing Medical Qigong, it is an amazing adjunct to Medical Qigong. It puts you in the state of consciousness that one needs to be in to be able to really do this work. If you look in the books, or you read the books about Medical Qigong or about Taoism, about the real magical healers, they are mystical healers. So they have an ability to, or they are adept in these higher realms. And this is what you gain from the light body. You become adept in these higher worlds. So I'm feeling like it's time to do a meditation. I've kind of blabbed on here for a while. And so this is the part of the evening where I get to channel in the meditation from the guides. My new office, by the way, very exciting. So, on some music. And meditation. Welcome. And we are very pleased to have you sharing this time with us, both those who are here for the live transmission and those who are watching this at a future time. And indeed, we are happy that you are tuning in and that you are looking into the potential of your growth, of expanding your consciousness, your awareness, and your abilities to move into and become a part of these higher worlds. Good, and breathing deeply and adjusting your posture, finding a way of sitting that allows the energy to move more freely. Breathing in and breathing out. That lifts you up. And as you breathe, allowing yourself to relax, allowing your mind to relax as well. As you bring more awareness to your breath, the movement of your body with the breath. To a sense of floating with your breath, so that the breath allows you to relax even more. So that you can observe the breath moving in and out on its own without any effort on your part. There is a higher wisdom involved here that is breathing you. Observing the breath. Relax even more as you do. Until you move into that sense of floating and expanding outward on the breath. And so now a sense of a wave moves in and out all around you with the breath. It's creating a dynamic energy field. And letting your awareness now just go out on the breath into that larger space all around you. allowing yourself to be, enjoying this energy. Enjoying a sense of light, a sense of flow now. Sense of now traveling in this energy field. Traveling upward perhaps. Sense of being taken or being moved. And rising up. Now and feeling a shift as we move into more light. More harmony. Finer vibration. And resonance. Sense of beauty, a sense of color or many colors playing together. Good, and lifting higher still. Feeling more expansive. Becoming aware of the love and the light now beginning to surround you. Holding you. Beckoning you forth into these worlds of light. You are being introduced to the vibrations and the frequencies of the light body. You can relax and just allow yourself to float here. To enjoy this state of consciousness. This flow. And in this state of consciousness, you can ask yourself, or you can ask those beings around you who are here to guide you, to assist you, whether you are ready, whether this is the time for you to embark upon this journey, this next step in your spiritual growth. And the higher realms are welcoming you. And are here to support you in your evolution. In your becoming light. You're becoming radiant. In your journey into knowing who you are. And being able to bring this truth of your being to the earth plane. And adding light into the world. And taking a moment now to go just a little higher as the guides are holding an even higher note and calling you towards that and feeling that shift. Opening up and riding this energy. This flow. Smooth and harmonious. Experiencing yourself as a being of light. And slowly now, letting yourself begin to float back, just enjoying your experience here. slowly and gently allowing yourself to move back, bringing this sense of light with you, sense of harmony and peace. Back towards the physical realm, more and more. Coming back now. Back more and more. And taking a deep breath. Feeling yourself present once again. And we like to express our gratitude once again for your being here and for this opportunity to journey together. We look forward to working with you more on these higher planes and inner worlds. Okay, just take you a minute now. Come back. Okay. So any comments on the meditation? Anyone like to share their experience? Anybody like to come on screen and share their experience? That would be nice. So if that would work for you, you can let me know. I quite enjoyed that. It's pretty delightful. It took us to a very nice place. So those are the kinds of meditation. So that was just a taster meditation. So it wasn't even the first bite. But they do like to give a kind of a taster. So he went up to a nice a high space, but that wasn't the way that we do it. It was a transmission, but it wasn't skill building. So you can get into those nice spaces, but it's the skill building that's so powerful. So it's learning how to get there on your own. So this was going to be an hour. So we're running past our hour at this point. So just seeing if there's any questions or any feedback on the meditation. And if not, I'm probably going to wrap it up for now. Okay, Francis. Okay, does it matter that I felt very sleepy and dreamy? Well, maybe you were tired. Maybe it's the end of a long day. You can do your meditations whenever you want, and it's also okay to be sleepy and dreamy. And we talked about the awake sleep border. So there's places where you sort of go over into falling asleep, and yeah, you're tired, yes. So you can kind of go over into sleep, but you don't actually go to sleep. You kind of go into one of those, an altered state, and the altered state is actually your consciousness expanding. So it's sort of like you have this sort of amount of consciousness that's around you, but then it becomes dense because you're not used to going there. But when you do go into there, it's like, oh, it's dense, and it makes you feel really tired. I used to teach, well, I still teach, a lot of meditations, right, that go down into the body. And often when you spend a lot of time when you're not used to being in your body, everybody's falling asleep because it's so dense going into the body. So anytime that you're building consciousness, whether it's into the physical or into these other higher realms, there's also this density that you're kind of moving into, and that's what will make you sleepy. Good question. Thank you for a question, Francis. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, so I think I'm going to round it up for now. And so that was great to have folks here for the evening, and we will also to all of you who are viewing this as a recording, very glad that that you are here and participating, that you are here and participating whenever now is. So it's always now, so that just proves it. It's still now. Okay, so I guess I'm going to say good night to everyone out there. And again, thank you for being a part of this. You can find out more on the website. There's lots of places to go on the website. So going to www.emptymountain.com and looking up light body meditation, and that'll take you to several pages that have links that are going to tell you more. Okay, so a nice comment from Mario. This was a sweet meditation. I felt like I was going into different layers of consciousness. I have a question. Is this the second level? Oh, so no, Mario, this isn't the second level. So the second level starts on Wednesday. So second level is coming up on Wednesday. So let me know if you are wanting to do the second level. So you do this, and then I offer the next level. So I was really hoping, Mario, that you're going to do the second level. So good to hear from you. Right. So Mario, any comments for those who are wondering whether they would benefit from light body? Would you be willing to talk about that? And that's a yes or no question. And those of you who are still listening, I'm actually going to do this a little bit experimental. I want to see if I can screen share with Mario. So Mario, are you ready to do a little screen share with me? Yes. Okay. So. Oh. Okay, something happened, Mario. Okay, so I discovered that I'm not very good at doing a little screen share here. Okay, Mario, did I lose you? Okay, so much for my oh. Okay. Well, it seems I have more to learn on screen sharing, and I will hopefully have that worked out by the time I am doing my class on Wednesday, which is the more advanced class. Anyway, okay, so you are back, Mario, and let me try Mario one more time to see if I can make this work. I add person in, out. Let's see you coming up on the screen. Okay, so Mario, we need to talk later and see if we can figure this out. And for the rest of you, thank you for hanging in, and great to have you here tonight. And as I said, in the future as well. Okay, so good night. Well, I will be saying good night, but my mouse has died. Oh, here we go. There.